Everyone thinks MiniMax H3 can render up to 15 seconds of video, but that is a lie. In this video, I'll show you how much H3 can actually do right out of the box using comfy UI and the official H3 workflows. There are a lot of solutions to generate longer videos in H3, but they generally sacrifice either quality or speed to achieve that, or they are complex to set up or require specialized solutions. However, you don't actually need any of that. The solution is so obvious, you'll wonder why you didn't think of it sooner. And to prove it, I'll start generating a 2-minute video using H3 in a single prompt using the most powerful GPU in the world, the B300. Yes, the big brother of the B200 from the GPU comparison video. This will be fun. Welcome to B Explains Everything. Oh, and at the end, I will also tell you the drawbacks of such long videos and why I don't recommend it and what I suggest you do instead. Stick around to the end if you want my advice on that. The official documentation and virtually every blog post, video, and review clearly state that H3 can render up to 15-second clips and 2K resolution. It can, but it can do so much more, even without having to modify the models or nodes or anything like that. The simple solution, in fact, is just to increase the length. The official comfy UI workflows have a duration node where you specify in seconds how long you want the clip to be. That's it. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, you can't just add an infinite length here because it does consume memory, and lots of it. That's why, if you want to create really long videos, you need a lot of memory, and now you know why I went down the path of the B300, the largest GPU in the world, with 288 gigabytes of VRAM. It is insane. Anyway, on a 5090, I have successfully run 30-second clips on 0.4 megapixels. If you increase the resolution to 2K, then yes, you need a lot more VRAM to render. The same applies if you run longer clips. That's why, to demonstrate this, I'm going to start an RTX Pro 6000. It has 96 gigabytes of VRAM and is a monster comparable to the 5090. Even if it is a bit slower, what I'm most interested in now is those 96 gigabytes, because that's how we can create really long videos. Here, let me show you, but before we do, click the like button if you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. I create videos about and with AI, and I already have multiple videos on H3 if you want to learn more about that. And if you don't like what I'm creating, you can comment below what you want me to create instead. I'm open to anything, mostly. Anyway, let's look at how to run a really long H3 video using nothing more than the default comfy UI workflows. First, here's my pod, an RTX Pro 6000 that I have set up using the method I showed in my earlier video on installing H3. Once comfy UI is set up, all we do is drag in the workflow. In this case, I'm using the reference to video workflow. I have already uploaded 2 photos I'll use as a reference. I'm making a cartoon for a young friend of mine named Noah, so that's the reason for the images. For the model, I need to download the reference model, although I think I don't have enough space. I'll fix that later or just use the normal model. Okay, so now let's add the prompt which describes the scenes I want and then set the length to 50 seconds. I'm going to render in 0.4 megapixels to make things go faster. I think I'll also just use the normal model. It works. It's not as good for reference to video as the dedicated model, but that's not the point here. Now, just hit run and that's it. Here's a tip about comfy UI. You can check the progress of renders in the console over here. H3 splits the video up in 20 steps by default and allocates the entire video into memory before it starts the first step. That means that once we see the first step completing, we know it will complete without running out of memory, so we can leave it running. While that video is rendering, let's talk about that VRAM. The RTX Pro 6000 has a lot of it, which is why we can run a 50-second clip. The 590, even though it is faster, will fail around 30-40 seconds, and it will fail before it gets to that first iteration we just saw in the comfy UI console. That's a lot nicer than waiting until it's at the end of a 2-hour render before telling you it failed. So exactly how much can you throw on to the 96 gigabytes of the 6000? It depends on a few factors. The most important ones are length and resolution. To get more information about that, we can investigate the GPU memory directly while it is rendering. To do so, in Runpod, you can enable the web terminal here and then open the console. From here, you can run the NVIDIA-SME command like so, and it will tell you here exactly how much memory it is currently using. As you can see, with our 50-second, 4-megapixel video, we are currently using about 56 gigabytes of the 96 gigabytes, so we can easily go further than 50 seconds. If you want to push your GPU with H3, you can do so by simply increasing the length until it fails with an out-of-memory exception, which it does before it starts any rendering. That means you have a fairly quick way to see how long a clip you can make, without having to wait for the render to finish. In fact, let's use some movie magic and fast forward in time to where the first 50-second clip is already done, and start a new clip of 60 seconds. Same procedure as last time, but now let's set the time to 60 seconds. And no, I won't let you just sit here and watch my pretty face, because we do have that movie magic still. Okay, here we're almost done. We're just waiting for the last segment to finish, and then the VAE decoding, and finally saving the video. As you can see, it took just over an hour to render. Now we can download it and take a look.
B!
¡Hola, Noah! Noah, ¿cuál es tu primer deber como vikingo?
Proteger mi casa para que todos dentro estén...
Sí, es muy...
Me gusta.
So yes, there's your proof. H3 can easily exceed the 15-second limit without doing anything fancy. That said, it's probably not a good idea to do so, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's answer the question, just how far can we actually push this? Well, to find out, and spoiler alert, I didn't even find the full limit of this amazing model. I rented a B300. The B300 is the largest GPU you can get today, and you can only get it if you run a data center and can buy 72 of them at once. And they will set you back around $6.5 million. So naturally, I had to rent one to see just how much it can take. To start up, I actually had to set up a new template because Runpod only had the B300 in the Netherlands. It's crazy, but the cheapest GPU I could rent to just upgrade Comfy UI and download a few files is an L40s. That in itself is a pretty incredible GPU. It's a bit like wanting to recharge your phone and renting a Bentley just because it has a charging port. Anyway, once the template is done, it is time to unleash the monster. The B300. Okay, I won't even attempt to render the whole thing. I have only $9 left in credits, and a full render with what I'm about to try will be at least 3 times that. However, I have my network drive set up, and there's a B300 available, so now we just choose the new MiniMax H3 template I created on the L40s, and we're ready. Deploy the Kraken! I can't believe how insane this is. The B300 has 288 gigabytes of VRAM. 32 Intel Xeons are powering it. It has more VRAM than normal RAM. Anyway, now we just wait for Comfy UI to come up. Okay, so now let's pull in the workflow using the reference to video as before. Now, once I've set up the correct reference image files, let's try. 120 seconds. That's 8 times longer than the official limit. And the same prompt as before. And we should be ready to hit run. Let's see how this goes. First, let's open the console and make sure we can see what's going on. 2 minutes. That's a lot. While we're waiting for the first step to confirm that the B300 is able to run this, let's start the web terminal so we can monitor the VRAM usage. It will take a few minutes before we see anything moving because there's a lot of memory that needs to be allocated. Let's just run the NVIDIA-SME command like this. And as you can see, it hasn't loaded anything yet. So let's go back and check the console in Comfy UI again, and still nothing. Maybe this won't work after all. Okay, now something happened. It seems to have loaded the model and allocated the memory, and that only took 5 minutes. I'm going to need a second mortgage to render this to completion. When it gets past the first step, I'm going to stop it there. I think that will take almost 10 minutes just for the first step, so the total render will cost around $40. Finally, the first step is done. That only took another 11 minutes. Okay, I think that's enough for now. I can't afford to sit and watch the most powerful GPU in the world using up my credits just to see memory numbers go up. Speaking of which, I've been checking that memory while it is rendering, and we're now at only 134 gigabytes of VRAM. That should mean we could probably go even higher, perhaps as much as 4 minutes, but I'm not going to try that now. Let's shut down the pod, and I'll give you some pointers on why this entire exercise is a bit impractical. Okay, before we wrap up, don't forget to like and subscribe if you, well, like this video and want to see more of it, and leave a comment if you are so inclined. After blowing $3 on that memory allocation, I could use an encouraging word. Anyway, there seem to be only memory limits to what H3 can actually do. We know it will do 2 minutes, at least, and probably close to double that if we push it. Keep in mind that if you raise the resolution, you greatly increase the memory usage too. I showed this on 2 minutes with 0.4 megapixels, but a full 2K video would not be able to run that long. We know we can run a full 15-second clip on a 5090 with just 32 gigabytes of VRAM, so it's feasible to think we could go to 45 seconds at full 2K on the RTX Pro 6000, because it has 3 times as much VRAM. If those numbers just scale, we could then guess towards 135 seconds at full 2K for the B300, because that has 3 times as much VRAM as the 6000. Now, even if this is possible, it's probably not a good idea to do this. The main reason is that it is very hard to design prompts that can cover 2 full minutes in a single shot. When the clip gets long, from what I have seen, the prompt seems to drift and the model starts to hallucinate and mix up scenes. It may of course just be that I'm bad at prompting the H3 yet. Because a longer clip takes much longer to render too, that means you need to wait a very long time before you know whether your very long prompt actually gave the results you wanted. I have rendered a lot of longer clips with H3, and with the previous caveat that I may just be bad at prompting in mind, it seems to me that the sweet spot for keeping a clip that follows the prompt well is around 25 to 35 seconds. The full 60-second clip we rendered in this video is of horrible quality. The start looks nice, but the rest is a garbled mess. So the better approach is still to break the script into shorter scenes and clips and instead edit them together. H3 is really good at reference to video, so if you use the last frames of the previous clip as the reference for the next clip, it seems to do very well at keeping the flow going. I found some cool tools in GitHub projects that make that a bit easier. Let me know in the comments if you want me to investigate that and make a video about it. Until then, this has been B Explains Everything, and I will see you again next time.